Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Hope everyone is doing well today. Lots and lots to get into, but before we do that, please do me a small favour. Make sure to drop a like on today's video. Leave a comment as well, and I want to know your thoughts on Ruben Amorim. Get in the comment section right now, and be sure to subscribe. We're going to start off by talking about yesterday's game against West Ham. I mean, I didn't even bother doing a video. Like, what was the point? I do feel at the moment that Manchester United are just sucking the life out of all enjoyment of football, really. Especially by way of Premier League form. I know we had a good result against Athletic Club, and I know that was a good performance, and it was somewhat entertaining and all the rest of it. But recently, like, the games in the Premier League have just been woeful. It's been so poor. So poor. And somebody asked me on the show yesterday, they said, what did they say? They said, do you think Ruben Amorim has been a success in the Premier League? And I said, no, of course not. When Erik ten Hag left Manchester United or was sacked, he was 3 points off the top four. I worked out yesterday, after the game against West Ham, Manchester United in the year 2025 are currently 26 points off top four. I mean, let that just sink in for a minute. Just process that. 26 points off top four. And we are nearly 50 points off Liverpool, who are first. I mean, I genuinely think if the teams who have already got relegated weren't so poor, we would be very close to being relegated this season. Usually it's around 40 points, and we're on 39. But obviously Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton have been like terrible. So they've kind of saved us here. We've lost 17 games we've lost this season. We've got a goal difference of -11. The Premier League form so far, the last 5 games, we've lost 4 and drawn 1. It's not good enough. It's as simple as that. I just honestly think, though, that this team isn't suited at the moment to how Ruben Amorim wants to play. We all know that. This team, for me, suits park the bus, hit on the counter-attack with pace, moments of magic. That is what this team is built to do. And obviously he's trying to completely upheaval this and make them into an actual footballing side. And I honestly don't think that maybe more than 3 of the players in this squad are capable of doing that. You know, when you look through the team that we have, how many players in this squad do you think can actually play possession-based, attractive football? I don't think many. Let's have a look from the team yesterday, right? Alter Bayinda is just a backup goalkeeper. I think Ahmad can do it, to be fair. Mason Mount can probably do it. Luke Shaw needs to go. Lenny Yoro probably can do it. Mazraoui, I'm not really sure what Mazraoui's good or bad at. He, again, for me, is kind of like a Wan-Bissaka. Sorry, not a Wan-Bissaka. He's like a Dallo, where he's not particularly good going forward and he's not particularly good defensively. He's just all-round okay, Mazraoui. Mainu, I think, has disappeared into thin air. Mainu's literally just been nothing this season, hasn't he? And I know he's been benched a lot of the season, but I can see why. Mainu started the game yesterday and he offered absolutely nothing. Højlund offers absolutely nothing. Bruno Fernandes, I think, is absolutely phenomenal. But again, I'm not sure he suits a possession-based game because his thought is always to create a moment of magic every time he gets the ball, which is great when it works, but when it doesn't work, you lose possession and you give the team the other opportunities to either score or to dominate games. Amas, I think, is too young to kind of give an opinion on. But, you know, when you look through the squad and look through the team, from our starting lineup yesterday on our bench, I would probably only genuinely keep... If someone said to me, you have to tell me now who you want to keep and all of the other players get sold, I would keep Lenny Yoro. I would keep Ahmad. I'd keep Harry Amas because I think he's still new. Give him a chance. Luke Shaw, go. Mason Mount. I think Mason Mount's been all right the last couple of games, but I wouldn't keep him if someone offered 40 million for him. Højlund, I'd definitely sell. I'm going to be honest here. I would probably get rid of Mainu. If someone offered us 100 million for Mainu, I would sell him. Is he really that good? I'm not sure. And I know people will say, oh, it's an off-season, everyone's performing badly. But we do have this tendency as a fan base to overhype these young players. And then when they start to underperform, we're then like, oh, they're rubbish, they're not very good. I mean, Mainu was only 19, right? And we made out that he was the best midfielder in the world, didn't we, as a fan base? Which I guess is, I guess is a good thing to support our players. But the problem is when you put these players on a pedestal, like we did with Mainu, and then their form starts to dip, everyone's like, oh, they're washed, they're rubbish, get rid of them, you know? So it's a dangerous game to play. But the main talking point of today's video is going to be about Ruben Amorim, because Ruben Amorim came out after the game and said that effectively if we continue to perform like this next season, that he won't be here anymore. And that's fair enough. And he also goes on to say that we need to have the biggest summer we've ever had, and we need to be brave in the transfer window. So he's effectively said to Ineos, this is on you. You need to sort this mess out. And if they don't sort the mess out, they'll be gone. He'll be gone. I'm going to go back to when Ruben Amorim was first appointed, right? Because I want to give people a bit of context here. Because I don't do dramatic, I don't do sensationalism on this channel. I do what I feel like is honest observing. Maybe you disagree, but I'm not very reactive. When Ruben Amorim joined Manchester United and people were like, oh, this is amazing. I said, to be honest, I think it's 50-50 whether Ruben Amorim will be a success. This was on day one. And that's nothing to do with Ruben Amorim. I think he's a talented manager. He's proven that at Sporting Lisbon. Erik ten Hag was a talented manager. One of the best in Europe, right? Man City wanted him. Man City wanted Ruben Amorim. Like, lots and lots of top teams wanted Erik ten Hag and Ruben Amorim, okay? So this isn't on those managers. This, for me, as always, is on the people up above. Obviously, that all boils back to the Glazers. And I know people are going to be like, oh, we always blame the Glazers. It's getting boring now. The Glazers have failed every single manager we've had so far. You go back to Jose Mourinho. What was that, 6-7 years ago? I remember one summer under Jose Mourinho, it was an absolute disgrace. And then the following year, he got sacked. Do you not remember? So this isn't a new thing. And I have a lot of respect for Ruben Amorim for coming out and effectively saying that we need to be brave this summer. He's putting the focus on them because it should be on them. He is not going to be the one scouting around Europe, signing every single player. That's going to be Jason Wilcox. We know that Ruben Amorim wants Gyökeres. Are we going to end up with Liam Delap? Is this going to be another situation where the manager doesn't get the players he wants, and as a result of that, he ends up getting sacked? I don't know what to think here. I'm at the moment, right? I'm personally struggling to see Ruben Amorim here by Christmas. I just can't see it. Because unless, like he says, unless they're extremely brave and completely strip this squad, which I don't think they will do, because one, they won't want to lose money on players. Two, they won't want to buy new players. Three, loads of the players are on massive wages and won't want to leave. There's so many different factors, right? But I think if we still have the majority of this squad next season, which we will, like look through the team who started yesterday. Luke Shaw's going to be here. Mazraoui's going to be here. Ugarte's going to be here. Bruno's going to be here. Mount's going to be here. Højlund, I wouldn't be surprised if he's still here. Who else is there in that team? Most of these players are still going to be here, realistically. I mean, look at our bench yesterday. This just sums it up for me. Look at our bench. Our bench yesterday was Lindelof, Maguire, Eriksson, Fredriksson, Tom Heaton, Casemiro, Obi, and Dorgu. That was our bench. Arguably, we do have some players injured. Xerxes, Martinez, Dallo, Delict, Collier, and Heaven are all injured. Lenny Yoro is obviously injured as well now, by the looks of things. But still, when you look across our whole squad, it is so poor. There were maybe one or two game changers in that squad, and that's Bruno Fernandes and Ahmad. And every other single player in that team, realistically, obviously, the defenders aren't game changers. Maguire's been good this season. That's probably about it, isn't it? I think Lenny Yoro's been good this season. I think Aiden Heaven's been good this season in the moments we saw from him. I think Casemiro's improved this season, but still probably needs to be moved on. Like, you realistically this summer need to see, I would say, and we haven't even touched on Anthony, Sancho, Rashford, all these other players who are out on loan. From the players who are still here right now, I would say we probably need to get rid of at least 10 to 15 players. Let's start from the top of the squad all the way down to the bottom. Binder, keep him as a backup. I don't really care. Luke Shaw, sell. Mazraoui, bench player. Amas, bench player. Bruno, I would keep. Mount, bench player. Ugarte. I think Ugarte is worth keeping. Mainu, I think bench player. Ahmad starter. Hoyland sell. Lindelof sell. Maguire bench player. Dorgu bench player. Garnacho I'd probably sell. Ericsson sell. Fredrickson bench. Heaton don't care. Casemiro sell. Chidobe keep. So yeah, I mean, there's easily 10 players there from that current squad who should be leaving this summer. Obviously, we know that Lindelof's going. Evans is going. Yeah, there might be a couple of other players. But yeah, how's everyone feeling this morning? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know. I don't know. I don't even feel pain watching Manchester United anymore. Like, I'm just never surprised. I don't even want to imagine what it's going to be like if we lose that Europa League final, though. It's gonna be horrible. Not only because it means that we're effectively going to be like 2 or 3 years back, but imagine giving Tottenham their first trophy in 20 years. I'm just going to have to turn the internet off for like a week, aren't we? If that happens. That game's literally next week now as well, people. We are 1 week away from the biggest game probably in the last 10 years. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Nigel says he's never seen a manager do so many interviews. The thing is, Nigel, right? I assume that you're making a dig at Ruben Amorim, right? Which is fine. But remember that there is a whole press relations team above Ruben Amorim who will be arranging these interviews. So really the question should be, why is the media and relations team at Manchester United allowing and booking in all of these interviews? It's not Ruben Amorim actively going out speaking to Sky saying, oh, can you come round to Carrington today to do an interview? It's not him who's organising these interviews. That's not his job. He'll be told that you have to do an interview with Sky today and he'll go and do it. So I agree, he does way too many interviews, way too many press conferences, all of these types of things. But remember that it's not him who organises these things. It'll be the press and relations, the PR team at Manchester United. So again, it's like, what is their reason for doing this? Have they signed a deal with Sky that says that their manager will do X amount of interviews? Like, we don't know, do we? So yeah. What else have we got? Fred says, is the problem too big to cure? I mean, that's a pretty big topic, isn't it? Is the problem too big to cure? I honestly think that the only way you cure this problem once and for all, and this is 100% serious answer, is if the Glazers went, the debt was cleared, a new owner came in with a massive amount of money who said, you know what, this squad is underperforming, I'm going to write off these players, like Arsenal did with players, didn't they? They just they got rid of some of their biggest earners. They just threw them out effectively. That's what needs to happen, but that's not going to happen. So I don't think getting a new manager is the solution, because another manager will come in, the same thing will happen, and we'll all be sat here in 6 months' time saying, oh, you know, it's not worked, sack the manager. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's a pretty bleak time at the moment, isn't it? I would say. There's not really any other way of describing it other than bleak. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Yeah. It's just frustrating, really, isn't it? Frustrating is the best word to describe it. It's frustrating because it doesn't feel like it's going to get any better. I think that's the most frustrating thing about it. If there was like some light at the end of the tunnel and it felt like things were going to improve, then fine, cool. But it doesn't really feel like that. You know, it just feels like we're stuck in this cycle where we lose a couple of games and then people are like, sack the manager, and then the process just repeats. And, you know, that's where it feels like we are as a club, just in this horrible cycle. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what the solution is. Does anybody have a solution? For me, the only solution is the Glazers go, the debt goes, and we start again. But that's not going to happen. So based on the situation we're in, what is the solution? I mean, you could argue that maybe you clear out the squad and you start again. Maybe that would help. But But still, that might not work. It then depends on who you recruit. You know, it's easy for us to sit here and say, oh, let's sell the squad and start again. But that could not work. You know, there's a strong possibility you do that. You clear out the squad. You start fresh. And it still doesn't work. So, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what the solution is. If anybody has any suggestions, I'd be more than happy to read them out. Yeah, I don't know. What's everyone's thoughts? Let me know in the comments. I'm interested to see. I'm looking forward to the final. Other than that, I'm just kind of checked out a little bit this season. Somebody keeps saying it's Bruno Fernandes's fault. I don't really understand how you can put all of this on one player, but if that's genuinely what you think this is all Bruno Fernandes's fault, then I don't know. Fair enough, I guess, if that's your opinion. I personally disagree, but I understand the angle that you're coming across. I understand that fully. That, you know, he gives the ball away a lot and all these other things. So I understand what your point is. I just don't think it's fair to blame one player for everything when really the problem is, as I just said, that we're ladled with debt, poor recruitment, you know, players on massive wages. It's not Bruno Fernandes' fault we're in debt, is it? It's not Bruno Fernandes' fault that they give out 350 grand a week contracts to players who aren't good enough. Like, maybe Bruno Fernandes' style of play is a problem somewhat, but it's not the bigger problem. And this is exactly what the Glazers have always tried to do, right? It's conquer and divide. So you have one person in the chat who's blaming Bruno Fernandes. You have another person in the chat who's blaming Højlund because he can't score. You'll have another person in the chat blaming Onana because he's not good enough. Like, all of these things are correct, right? Højlund can't score. Onana's not good enough. Bruno gives the ball away too much. But that's not the bigger problem. And I think it's an age-old tactic that's been going on for thousands of years. Conquer and divide. So they divide the fan base. There'll be someone in the chat, like there is this morning, who's wearing the Bruno Fernandes out agenda on his sleeve like it's the be-all, end-all. Bruno goes, we suddenly win the Champions League. Like, that's not going to happen. It's as simple as that. That isn't the problem. It might be part of the problem, but it's not the problem. The problem is way bigger. And the problem is not being talked about anymore. Why are people not talking about the Glazers anymore? Why are people not talking about the fact that we're in nearly £1 billion worth of debt? Why are we not talking about the fact that we hand out contracts to underperforming players on massive wages? Like, why are all these things not being discussed? Why are we not discussing the awful transfer policy over the last decade? You know, that's why this team is so bad. It's not because Bruno Fernandes gives the ball away occasionally. So, yeah, that's my take on this anyway. But I understand people like to put the blame on one player. It feels easier to blame Bruno and say Bruno goes and everything improves, but I just don't believe that. And I think, again, that's an age-old tactic. It's conquer and divide. Right, in relation to Lenny Yoro, I can see people asking about that in the chat. So Ruben Amorim has said that apparently it is the same injury that he had at the beginning of the season. And he said that the initial signs are positive, but I mean, the final's next week. It's literally a week on Wednesday. I don't think we'll see Lenny Yoro for that game, personally. Hopefully we do. Hopefully it is minor, but it didn't look minor to me. Delict as well. I mean, we're dropping like flies at the moment. Dropping like flies. Oh, dear. We just have to hope and pray that we win that final, because it's going to be an absolute horrible cesspit if we lose that final. Horrible. I can't even begin to imagine what it will be like if Man United lose to Tottenham in that final. I'm being honest now. I'm not confident at all. I'm not confident. I don't know how you're all feeling today, but I'm not confident that we're going to beat Tottenham. They've beaten us 3 times this season already. If we do beat Tottenham, it's going to be because of tactics, I think. Do we play Højlund? Do we stick Bruno Fernandes up front as a false nine? I mean, this is where Ruben Amorim's going to earn his money. Because based on what I've seen so far, I can't see us beating Tottenham. But if Ruben Amorim does some madness, maybe we can pull it off. Yeah, I mean, it's just not good enough, is it? All right, let's talk about Jonathan Tah quickly. So apparently Manchester United are continuing talks with Jonathan Tah. And apparently he wants to join Manchester United if, drumroll, we get Champions League football. So it's the classic old situation where we have all these players lined up who want to join Manchester United, but they only want to join if we get Champions League, which I think is fair. You know, the days are gone where people are like, oh, I dream of playing for Manchester United, I think. But yeah, I think those days are gone, personally. I'm not saying that people don't want to join Manchester United. I'm saying that, you know, say Man City come for Jonathan Tah and Man United do, he'll go to Man City because they're in the Champions League. It's as simple as that. I know Lenny Yoro joined United, but we've as a fan base, we've kind of told ourselves that Lenny Yoro rejected Real Madrid, right? Lenny Yoro rejected Real Madrid because they wouldn't pay the money that Man United would. Realistically, let's be real here, right? We know that Manchester United paid nearly double in transfer fees versus what Real Madrid were willing to pay, and that's why he joined. So, you know, we can kid ourselves and say that these players are rejecting other clubs for us, but in reality, if we'd have offered the same amount of money as Real Madrid, he would have gone to Real Madrid. We offered double what Real Madrid did, and they said we're not paying any more, and he came here. So, you know, it's easy for us to fool ourselves, but at the moment, we're not a very attractive proposal. But anyway, I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. I've been rambling for way longer than I would usually. I hope you all have a great day. I will be back tomorrow morning as normal. Don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe, do all those things. Really helps me out, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye for now.